Sand King did get buffed to do even more damage.
Even more.
I mean, he got some bug fixes, but his win rate's bad. I just have to imagine it's worse.
I would have rather them avoided that pick.
Yeah.
As it was picked, I don't think there was an obvious counter. It's decent against Brew Split.
Oh, Watson in a lot of trouble. Will pop the Lotus to stay alive. Toronto Tokyo is going to have to exit as well as the Aphotic Shield doing some work here. Mira, is he actually just going to pop? Indeed, that is the case. And Toronto Tokyo is staying a little too close as Watson can just die to the tower. No, Toronto Tokyo with the last burst of speed.
Wait, what?
Either way, first blood to Watson.
That felt like Mira.
Against Illusions is really good, but this is a support TB that we've been discussing, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the Surge, I suppose, Ion Shell, the Resonant Pulse. I think that's it. Nothing too crazy is Quint. Gonna use the Astral Step to make sure he can get the Invis rune, so a good pickup. The toss back, though, from Kiyotaka. Quint. Third member of Aurora coming to play. He can just pop this Invis, and he will, but the Sentry is placed. He's going to get reeled in after the fact. Astral Step to the high ground as Kiyotaka trying to close the gap here. And as the Shadow Realm is going to be used as well. Does he have the vision? Yes. The Resonant Pulse. Quinn tossed up. It's Kiyotaka under the tower. Now a double TP. Quinn looks like he might stay alive, but the Avalanche at the last moment. Kiyotaka, the right click. The Lotus is actually going to save Quinn. Gets ensnared. Mira going to suicide himself on the towers. He's not careful. They finally get the Void Spirit. Kiyotaka dies as well, so both mid laners drop dead.
So far, so good for them.
Yep, I mean, all the cores in the game relatively close as we're going to see the Avalanche. Terrorize being faked out from Mira. The Bedlam to fall. They're going to get the toss-up onto Quinn. Gets to dissimulate. He wants to actually get aggressive. The Astral Step onto 2, but there is the song from Panto. As Quinn on the high ground, ready to try to turn this potentially. Terrorize to follow. The Abaddon, of course, still has the ult. Will eventually go off as Quinn gets the Laguna Blade to the back of the head. Gets a big Astral Step, though. As Kiyotaka, he's actually going to survive this. They glimpse away Nightfall. It's Panto getting run down, but the ensnare, just a thorn in the side of Gaimin. They've lost 2 now, as Quinn might be in some trouble. Ace on the run. That seems to be who they're targeting, but Watson, remember, he doesn't have his ult anymore. Astral Step again. Quinn getting aggressive. Now disengaging with the Dissimulate.
Bramble.
Gets brambled and will fall, though. And nice Dragon Slave to find one more. As Tofu going to continue with this Reflection. Mira, with that Earn Charge applied, will drop. So 2 for 1 in this extended portion of the fight.
I'm not gonna. I don't know what to say. It's kind of going according to plan for both teams. I think Aurora would have liked to not lose the towers that they have, but in terms of overall teamfight prowess, they're definitely up there.
Oh, we got the Bedlam. This is the fight for the Wisdom Shrine. Another Bramble hit, says Toronto Tokyo making his way over. The Terrorize, though, should ensure that they will grab this, and they're going to get the LSA and destruction of Ace. And Tofu now on the run. He does have Sunder, so they do have to be a bit careful here. Toronto Tokyo, no ult quite yet. Tofu, he does get off the Sunder onto the support Naga Siren as Toronto Tokyo is bursted. Quinn making his way over and turning this fight. The Avalanche from Kiyotaka ensures another kill for Aurora. Of course, no Sunder to come for Tofu, who's already used it. The Avatos, eventually enough for Kiyotaka. So in the end, Gaimin do lose 3. Quinn making that a better trade than it would have been. They get the 2 cores. And the Avalanche now, Kiyotaka showing off that Blink Dagger. There's Quinn. The Curse Crown will hit, but they don't have any follow-up here.
So as long as both illusions hit before, or the swing of the second illusion starts before the conclusion of the swing from the second, I think it'll save.
And I actually think that's been in the game for a long time, too.
I just don't remember ever seeing it.
Really? I
remember
like
seeing the text that somebody denied the rune while someone picked it up.
Well, it's the same thing, though,
yeah,
right?
Basically. But
Blink
I guess you
Dagger.
could flood, if you would really try to organize your team, you could flood the entire left part of the screen with denied rune. If you send 4 Meepos,
yeah, that's
not
really
illusions.
important.
Yeah, it is.
Avalanche. Terrorize misses, I think.
Uh-oh.
Gets the ensnare on top with the Bedlam to follow. That is enough damage. Quinn is dead. Takes a while, but they have it. And now the Laguna Blade LSA onto Ace. Tossed up right on top of the Abaddon. And Gaimin Gladiators have to be careful here. Song of the Siren. I don't think they can be careful any longer. They've lost 2 cores. The rest are slept. Another Avatos combo. That's 4 dead for Gaimin. and it's going to be a full team wipe as Aurora lose 0.
Kill everyone, take the road, and they're now in a very comfortable position. I do not think that Gaimin really have what it takes to kill a 6-slotted Lina this game.
Quinn is already about to half HP. He wants to get aggressive, though, as Ace shadowing him along with Tofu. Kiyotaka on the run. They don't have vision, or do they? Get the vacuum. BKB pop from Kiyotaka. He's super low, though. Avatos doing quite a bit, but the Greaves and Kiyotaka surely will be finished off eventually here. The BKB is still running, so the Glimpse does nothing. And he actually gets the blink off.
No.
TP?
Oh
okay.
my god, that was close.
So bad for Gaimin.
Wait, how did they see? Did they have a sentry in range? Does he have that on the way with his fluffy hat? When you get the shard this early on Terrorblade, there is technically pivoting potential. We've talked about this with some supports transitioning into a core route. Yeah. It takes a while, but these games
Nightfall. He's
late.
spotted. Watson wants to start things out. Okay, blinks immediately.
Onto
Nightfall. Okay, they're trying to burn life number 1.
Mission
the vacuum wall onto both him and Kiyotaka. He has the Daedalus, though, for the Lina. See if we can force his BKB out. Static Storm used, but it's just on the Dark Willow right now. Toronto Tokyo able to get off his ult with the Song of the Siren. Laguna Blade onto Tofu, but Tofu can now sunder somebody if he's not careful. Avatos now from Kiyotaka. Ace getting burned up. Will pop the Greaves to try to stay alive, but gets brought back by the Pandas and into his grave. Tofu looks to be next on the list. The Naga is the trade for now as Watson put up in the air. And as Mira is getting initiated by Watson, will pop the ult to get back onto the ground. Nightfall is the big kill. The Terrorize comes out, though. As they're going to find Malady on the backside, but Nightfall getting pursued by Watson. They need this kill for Gaimin. Quinn finishes it. 8th Remnant now onto the Dark Willow. Big kills coming out from Gaimin Gladiators as well as the silence coming out now from Quinn. Oh, Toronto Tokyo gonna get hit by the Dissimilate. The Avalanche is gonna slow them down. Watson still with that burning radiance. They're gonna get him. And now they canceled the TP of Kiyotaka, and that's gonna be a team wipe for Gaimin.
Oh my god. Oh, I think Aurora must have had the wrong read there, right? They were TPing out their Brewmaster, and I think Kiyotaka says, stay, we can fight. He stays on Brewmaster, gets killed, and then Kiyotaka's like, never mind, we can't fight. He starts TPing out, and then he is the one to get canceled. I'm pretty... That's gonna be Gaimin's biggest X factor. Super late game is gonna be the X, surely. So, it's far away. But eventually that is one of those items that has a tendency to win games. Disruptor Ags. 3,500 to go.
Nightfall gonna get initiated on. They get the Basher as well. Nightfall at half HP, but it pops the BKB. Now Laguna Blade onto Tofu. He's dead. Can't get the Sunder off through the BKB target. Now the Ensnare onto Watson. Will immediate Aphotic shielded out, and he wants to fight this. The Static Storm hits onto the nice back wall. In addition, the focus onto Nightfall. The BKB is still up for Watson, so he can go through this Song of the Siren. Nightfall getting really low, gets the bash up as well. This is going to be really close. Gets glimpsed back, he's dead. Huge kill for Gaimin Gladiators. They're going to take out the Naga as well. Instant buyback, though, is Toronto Tokyo in the Primal Split. He's going to be going down here pretty soon if he's not careful. Finally gets back up. Mira with that. I don't think actually going to get the nice route onto the Abaddon. This is going to be his death. That is a huge kill as Gaimin have gone a little bit too far. And now the Ensnare will follow onto Quinn with the damage coming out the Shadow Realm. That's enough damage to take out the second core here. So Aurora, despite losing Nightfall, end up defending successfully.
Yeah, the buyback advantage and getting Naga back into the fight is definitely a big help there. More than you could chew.
Nightfall scanned out. Gonna run into Ace here. He has Aegis for another minute as Quinn's gonna start things out. They can burn this pretty quickly. Bramble from afar. Laguna Blade is used from Nightfall, though. Trying to stand his ground. Gets the LSA. Borrowed Time is already activated. He's going to be lifted in the air. There's another Vac Wall coming out. Life number 1 for Nightfall down. Panto looking for the potential song play here. Gets Avalanche, but yeah, does get it off. He's going to get bashed, though, as the BKB for Watson allows him to continue to attack. The glimpse back on Nightfall. He didn't pop the BKB in time. Still finds the distance, though. As Quinn looking for a target. Kiyotaka the same. Toronto Tokyo in that Primal Split. Abaddon getting super low. Doesn't have the Ag or I can't even speak right now. Nightfall taking a lot of damage, trying to run away. Quinn looking for a target again. Toronto Tokyo with the BKB outside of his Primal Split now. as Ace will fall. So this fight actually ends in favor of Aurora.
It feels so unpredictable what's going to happen. That was even a clutch Sunder from Ace onto Watson. And they still ended up losing that despite getting kind of the...
That's pretty cool. You do not see that on support terribly very often.
I feel like he could have bought a Scotty instead.
You'd rather have him... Oh, that's a bigger Ags, though. Malady. Okay.
That's the really big one.
This is game changer. Top 10 Ags in the game easily.
Mainly just looking at the trajectory of this game, perhaps Tofu could have got the Scotty and had a teamfight impact with the meta, and then eventually if he gets one more item, then it gets really interesting. He already has the Pike, so...
And this is where it gets scary, potentially for Aurora. The Static Storm muting items. They're not going to be ready for this.
Nightfall used Satanic on the Roche.
Yes, he did. Has the Roche at half HP, the toss back. Oh my god, Quinn is getting melted. The song comes out. Okay, resets it for Quinn to some degree. He's going to get brambled on the way out, though. As they're going to apply all their pressure. A double toss back. A huge cleave coming out from Kiyotaka as well. Gaimin lose 2 right off the bat. Watson gets off his ult, but he is all alone as Ace tries to retreat, but the right clicks from Nightfall will rip him a new one. As Quinn left all alone to try to take out a support, and he can barely even do that. The Assimilate is there as the Primal Split illusion, or the Brewlings are used to help take out Watson. That was a disgusting fight, and still Quinn cannot deal with Mira. That is not a good sign for Gaimin. As he tries to exit, the Avalanche comes out. Doesn't have a TP. He's spotted, he's hexed, and Mira comes out on top here. A full team wipe for Aurora. That double tossback was disgusting. Oh my god, the damage.
And it's the perfect... All one of them. Yeah, that's kind of... that's the secondary problem, of course.
Yeah.
If Quinn had a BKB, they could have killed him, I think.
Oh, he actually did. He used the self-exile.
Did it work?
Yeah, to dodge Glimpse.
All right. There you go. I told you I'd pay attention.
Yep. Good. You didn't even do your job.
I was looking at Quinn's inventory to check for potential BKB, but...
Second lane for Aurora. Still 4 minutes. 4.5, in fact, with the Aegis. Gaimin are going to have to try to defend. The buyback is available for Quinn. 20 seconds if he wants to wait it out, but the buildings will surely melt. He's going to use it. As Watson pops the BKB, the fear comes out, not really doing too much. The song counteracting most of it. Mass BKB Exodus for Aurora. Nightfall gets to the high ground. Toronto Tokyo pops Refresher. They're able to go again as a Static Storm comes out onto Nightfall. That is going to be death number 1 for him.
Refresher song.
Yeah,
he has the
second
shard.
song, disgusting. And Aurora, the Terrorize, is going to come out shortly. Not really doing too much as the Abyssal Blade finds one. But look at the control onto Watson. He has to use his ult to stay alive, now getting kited. Feels like all game long he has been kited over and over again. And now they can just right-click right through him. Easy kill. Buys back into the game as Ace follows suit. And Aurora can still stick around. They're so healthy thanks to that song. They get the Megas as Tofu gonna get stunned up by the Cursed Crown. And I think they want to try to finish this game right here, right now, and why not? Tofu, nice Sunder, though, as Kiyotaka self-exiles but dies shortly after. Now Watson with the basher on Mira. This feels like it's their main target in these fights, and they can never kill Mira. Double buyback now for Gaimin, as there is a Rapier picked up from Kiyotaka.
He backbought Rapier. Okay.
All right, that's one way to lose the game potentially. Is Vac Wall onto 3 now, Toronto Tokyo. Doesn't have the ult to work with, so they finally take out Mira, the pesky Dark Willow. And now Nightfall also will drop. Double kill for Watson. Toronto Tokyo TP's out.
Yeah, and Quinn now has a BKB, so they can actually kill during the Song of the Siren now. This is what I was looking for before with that Roche Pit fight. Now it becomes a reality. If you catch someone in the Static Storm, you pop BKB on Void Spirit, you pop it on the Abaddon, and you just all in the Lina, who will probably be forced to use buyback here.
I would assume so.
They're going to set
one buyback from the Dark Willow.
But now Watson arrived.
There it is.
There you go.
Buyback for Lina. Does Gaimin exit? They're going to get the racks. Kiyotaka with the Avalanche. Laguna Blade to follow. LSA as well, but the Force Staff going to save him. Abaddon getting super low. Finally, the ult goes off, and now he gets lifted in the air. Meanwhile, the Primal Brewling's actually getting pretty low. Toronto Tokyo does have to be a bit careful. Watson, full HP now. Nightfall going to get glimpsed away. Tofu with the fear, actually putting Toronto Tokyo in a precarious spot. He's going to pop the BKB for himself.
Yes, Refresher still.
Still all alone. Kiyotaka trying to go on top of Tofu. The support Terrorblade will die. No buyback now. Static Storm onto Nightfall, but he already popped the BKB, and there's the song from Panto. The full reset for Aurora. Terrorize on top, a little bit too early though, and a big avalanche. Quinn is extremely low, will Astral Step. They've already lost 3. He tries to exit, but he dies while TPing, and the GGs are called. Aurora, take number 1.
Yeah, and what a way more interesting game than I thought that was going to be. They do get it done. The concerns I had for Gaimin Gladiators lineup ultimately does end up being the problem, but it happened way later than I expected. They actually had more damage to bring to the table than I thought they would.
Or an Atos, maybe an Underlord.
Timbersaw?
Or a Timbersaw. I mean, I guess the idea with Timbersaw is that he has like armor of his own that doesn't get pierced by Draw's ulti. Like just bonus armor from his reactive.
He can also kill Undying really, really easy too.
Yeah.
From an offlane position, most offlaners just have to ignore him, but he can kill him.
I don't know why it is picked.
No, okay.
This game.
Why is it so bad then? Malady, gonna take a blast off. We'll be able to walk away as Quinn and Kiyotaka. This is going to be a very, very spicy mid-lane matchup.
He does have Timber Chain. Malady must be dead here, surely.
Blood grenade applied. Toronto Tokyo is there to finish the job. It ends up being a trade of supports, but like the panel was saying, Timbersaw can rip right through the Undying. Kiyotaka a bit low on mana as reinforcements arriving for Gaimin.
10-minute rune time. Means 3v3 mid.
No. Nightmare from Panto. It's illusions only, so Malady will just snag it. Shackle. Already the shield crash, though. The blast off is there as Tofu gets healed up. A nice soul rip, but now the tombstone is placed. The silence applied now to Kiyotaka, getting off his ult, but no. It actually does go off, and he dies inside of it.
Yeah, that's a worst case scenario. Now he doesn't have it when he comes back to life. Gaimin with a good collapse there. They don't get the rune for Quinn, but they do get the rune for themselves, and they activate their Undying and they pressure the mid tower, and now onto Panto.
Oh yeah, that is a lot of damage. The early group up from Gaimin Gladiators. We've seen it time and time again. Now they have the snakes available too. So Tofu and company, I'm actually not sure they needed this, but they will take the tier 1 either way. Oh, and they're going to see a little juicy stack here as well. Definitely good against the Timbersaw, that's for sure. As, oh, they actually get the Hex. Initiation. Nightfall in a lot of trouble. Double TP coming. A nice Nightmare. Going to block the damage from the boat into a grip now as Nightfall tries to walk out. Looks like he might fall. There's a big blast off onto 2. Toronto Tokyo in the midst of things will be stunned up. Aurora's already lost 2 though, as here comes a shield crash from Kiyotaka. Deletes Quinn. Tofu likely next on the list, although Watson, we've seen this before, doing a lot of damage onto the Rolling Thunder target, but just not enough in the bank yet. So a 3 for 3. Don't take away people's fun. It's a video game, for God's sake. And there's a Mjolnir for Nightfall. We might have some action down here. Toronto Tokyo. He will get hexed, but they get the stun. Oh my God, Quinn just gets deleted. They were waiting for him. A big bait coming out from Aurora. Shield crash Laguna. Okay, interesting target. They'll get the roster regardless here. Trying to take out the tombstone. It is taking out the Nightmare. Blocks the Kunkka damage again. As Toronto Tokyo getting to the high ground. You can see the hypothermia going to work on him. Not getting too much regen, but the chase will continue. Kiyotaka still had his ult. Watson applying a lot of pressure to Nightfall. Will pop the Essence Ring as Kiyotaka burning all the mana of Watson. He has no other members that close to him. Panto can't do too much here. That might just be the end of the fight. You can see the lack of catch from Aurora, but they were waiting in the wings, SyndereN.
Yeah. Panto's fighting is exceptional this game so far in the Bane. All his Nightmares are super high impact. He times them perfectly to block key damage.
Mira. Shaded on again. A nice Nightmare yet again into the Gust, though. This will be the death of the techies, or Funny Bomb Man, if you ask Slacks.
Yep.
And now the Aghanim Scepter finally finished. Feels like he's working that forever for Toronto Tokyo.
It's a big upgrade, though.
Oh, yeah.
There's no removal currently on the Dire team. Nobody's eyeing it up either in general, so he will have a nice time with this for a while.
He'll be the target to start. The Twisted Chakram comes out. Are they going to get the X now? Boat at the ready. Malady uses his ultimate along with the Tombstone, but now Gaimin kind of disengaging a bit as Kiyotaka shows off the Rolling Thunder. Toronto Tokyo can be trying to take out the Tombstone, but it's going to be healed up, and now this Timbersaw is melting with the hypothermia, and the boat is coming for Kiyotaka. 2 big kills for Gaimin.
What a bait.
They fake back and then re-engage and destroy.
It's like a tombstone. It's a level 1 tombstone. And the Timbersaw alone stands and hits it for 10 seconds, and then it gets healed, and his shield runs out. He effectively killed himself going for a tombstone that wasn't doing anything. And that's massive for Gaimin. They get 2 kills on 2 cores and a tier 2 for that? What a dream.
I mean, can you blame
I think
him?
they would have much rather have the upgraded tombstone.
Panto. Oh, Horsey. Tofu. Oh my god, he actually gets to the other side of the trees, but the bombs are there. Meanwhile, blast up on the other side. The Rasta eventually will be taken out. The Yules is going to keep him alive a little bit longer. Quinn focusing on Kiyotaka. This is a big kill. Tidal Wave. Gaimin Gladiators get a big one again. It's only at the cost of Tofu.
Aegis on the drow. Okay. Thought they were going to put it in.
High ground time.
It definitely isn't.
For Gaimin it is.
Well, okay. We'll see. I'm not a big believer in them going high ground yet. But maybe. Maybe they find a way. They'll definitely take bot tier 2. If they find a pick, then possibly Kiyotaka is roll up.
Yeah, he does have roll up. The grip finding the Rasta. Torrent is coming though, along with the boat. Rasta dead again, but it's going to be at the cost of what? Panto drops, so that's a 1-for-1. Techies follows suit. Kiyotaka in a 1 versus 4 right now, but the Laguna Blade finding Quinn. He's at half HP, zips away. He's fine. Kiyotaka, now he's kind of stuck in a precarious spot. And that shield crash not going to do too much.
They need
That's
Timber.
the death of him and the death of the tier 2.
They need Timber in the middle of these fights. Like, if these fights are going to last this long, you absolutely have to have Toronto Tokyo put some pressure. That one was way too easy for Gaimin.
Looks quite tired.
There's the BKB. So, okay. Now he should really be confident on the Timber. You're still tanky enough when you're in BKB and reactive armor that the Drow cannot deal with you and none of the other heroes do any damage to you. So, we'll at least give him that window of opportunity. Gaimin, though, will get the initiation onto Panto, the dream target.
Yeah, but the grip onto Quinn. Laguna to follow.
Remember,
they're
he
able
does
to
not
disrupt
have the
it,
Aegis.
though. Yeah, he's super low, going to the south now. Not a whole lot of mana. Toronto Tokyo is slowed by these zombies, and it looks like Quinn will survive. Oh, actually, Nightfall getting caught in a horrible spot now. He drops to the deck along with Mira. That's 3 dead for Aurora, and it's high grounding time.
Wow,
That's what the Aegis is for, SyndereN.
sometimes Dota is just a game of like 2%. Like if Quinn dies there, that's such a different fight, but he manages to find a way out with the haste rune. Aurora were missing the last little piece there, and now Gaimin in a commanding position.
Big ol' zip onto Toronto. He gets off the reactive armor. Ags is getting X. Nightmare to try to disrupt it. It works. Gets gusted though. He does blow up, and now he's susceptible with the hypothermia stacks. Teammates don't want to stand near. Toronto Tokyo dead for 50, and the high ground has arrived for Gaimin. 1 minute on the Aegis. They're going to get plenty.
Yeah, 40 seconds.
And the crazy thing is Watson is not even, I mean, obviously he's important right now, but his farm can get so much bigger in this game.
This has worked out wonderfully for Gaimin. 10,000 advantage gained with an Aegis. It's pretty rare we see that go to 5-digit.
Yeah.
And they're not done yet. Bottom lane. This is kind of already last stand territory for Aurora. 28 minutes in. Quinn is back up to full resources in spite of that fight just happening. Nice little find there from Mira, but can't get the job done against Tofu's Shadow Shaman.
Tombstone placed ahead of time. Rolling Thunder. As they're going to delete the techies to start things out. Kiyotaka not finding any connection. In fact, he's already at half HP. He just gets destroyed. Watson. I mean, the Drow versus the Pango can sometimes be pretty bad in the late game scenarios, which it's 28 minutes in. So I don't know if I call this late game. This is a second lane for Gaimin as the Aegis will expire here. Watson back to full mana. And I don't see why they need to stop.
No, they're going to keep going here. Quinn up to 24 galvanized stacks, so he's going to consistently have the resources needed to continue fighting on and on. And the third lane. About to be another 30-minute game today. That's really been the theme for most games. Pretty one-sided.
Yeah.
This one is no different. Gaimin Gladiators will get the 29-minute mega creeps.
And they will exit in time. Aurora not even trying to defend there without the 5.
It would be the first if Aurora did it now, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be interesting?
I mean, of all the teams to make that happen, who do you think it would be?
The most likely to be able to pull it off?
Yakult Brothers, right?
Team Spirit.
Well, that's true, yeah.
But they're not in the tournament.
Yeah.
No worries.
They have,
Toronto Togo is no longer in the game.
Yeah,
so
and he doesn't have buyback, so
well,
that might just do it.
time for the heroic 4v5 from Aurora.
And they're just getting rid of these buildings that are called buildings.
Yeah. Yeah, they never bothered to change that name, but no, we can't have grab out.
Yeah. Well, maybe if I start obnoxiously calling it something else. The Moonwell!
Why are they still called building? That's a good point. There's like different types.
I don't know.
And they're all just called building.
Well, the effigies are different than the buildings, of course. The other buildings are going down. The tier 4s, as here's the last stand from Aurora. They blow everything onto Drow. It's actually enough. Cost them a Bane buyback as Nightfall goes back to the base. And now the LSA onto Kunkka. Ace gonna get Nightmare closer to the fountain. Tidal Wave comes out. The pushing without the Drow is pretty pitiful, so Gaimin, I was gonna say, might want to just reset here again. Of course, Watson does have buyback, but I mean, this is definitely not a situation that you do that, surely.
Oh, Kiyotaka's in
Double
there.
shield crash. Tidal Wave gonna miss thanks to the Yules. Kiyotaka. He's X'd up at the moment. Lotus applied to Quinn. Nightmare. Kiyotaka doesn't have ult for quite a bit. Uses the roll up though. Toronto Tokyo coming to play now. Tidal Wave. Gonna hit on one. The creeps are in the base, by the way, so this could end without us even knowing. As Kiyotaka gets bursted down to the ground. Buyback instantly. Laguna Blade. Rasta stays alive a little bit longer thanks to foul play. Actually blinks to safety. He's actually going to survive this. Another buyback coming out from the side of Aurora. It's now or never, ladies and gentlemen. Toronto Tokyo. He's left alone because the rest of his allies are going to have to try to defend. Panto. Nightmare's a very tanky target. Nobody going to help.
Yeah.
Big zip again from Quinn. Swashbuckle going to be dodged. He's actually out of mana here. Quinn going to get soul ripped. Rolling Thunder again from Kiyotaka. Quinn is dead. All right. Watson has made an appearance with the Glacier as well. He's already expended his BKB. And again, the creeps are hitting the buildings as Watson and company just trying to distract Aurora from the inevitable fate of their base. 3 dead for Gaimin as the Undying instantly comes back to life thanks to his innate. Gaimin going to try to finish this without their Storm Spirit. Quinn, of course, does have buyback. Kiyotaka jumping in, has a blade. All right, not every day you see that. As the Hex, Hurricane Pike, goodbye, Toronto Tokyo. As Watson can do whatever the hell he wants at this stage of the game. Gonna get soul ripped as the Laguna Blade does literally nothing to Ace as the NNGG comes out from Nightfall. So we will go to a game 3.
Yeah. Took Gaimin a little bit longer than expected after they took the first lane of Barracks. That looked like a game that was going to end there and then, but Aurora made
The Ursa plus Omni Knight, and also the Willow follow-up.
I really like the AoE slow.
Is that a carry Muerta?
Carry Muerta, I think.
Really?
anticipating would be an Ace Kunkka. It's a very tough lane for the Kunkka. It's probably the worst, is laning against Ursa. So Gaimin just pivot. And Quinn says, Ace, oh my god, can you play a real hero? And Ace
Watson.
says no.
Watson, he's dead. First blood, Toronto Tokyo. That is very unfortunate for Gaimin Gladiators.
It makes it increasingly likely, of course. They're also planning for the Wisdom. And this could be a very, very spicy fight. Advantage Aurora since they have the TP connection point.
Right. Shadow Realm has the Brambles available. Will use it. This is going to make it really awkward for Gaimin, actually. Purification comes out doing a lot of damage. Mira will be a trade for the Rasta. 1-for-1. Panto secures the Wisdom Shrine. And now Toronto Tokyo literally taunting in front of Gaimin Gladiators.
He's going to walk them down.
Yeah. I mean, that innate definitely makes a difference here. As a tree coming from downtown and one more purification for the road. Toronto, Tokyo coming out on top.
Melody will end the fun on Ringmaster. And, well, I say that.
And he might die, though. Whip is barely channeled. Avalanche clips him. Gets off the box. Into the trees he goes. He will be finished off, meanwhile, top. This is a much bigger kill. The boat is coming for Nightfall. He pops the Enrage, attempting to TP out, but the X will bring him back. And Quinn takes him home. 1 for 1. Gaimin, again, getting a much better trade across the board.
Yeah, Quinn known to love to take home a bear.
Quinn gets away. As Panto going to be the recipient of the Diffusal Blade from Quinn, or from Ace, rather. We'll use the Rolling Thunder as well. Gets the AA Blast on top of the Rasta, so that should be a trade. Will pop.
Yeah, this is his default. It's fine as long as you get your BKB at an okay time. I think the downside to this build is the transitional period between Echo and BKB. If you die once or twice, it feels really bad.
Oh, Kiyotaka with the blank. Not able to find a good opening, but now finds the Ringmaster as Ace comes in with a Rolling Thunder, deletes the Ringmaster from the face of the earth. Quinn actually put Panto on the cliff here. Will eventually drop, I would assume, but he actually gets away. The AA Blast right on top of the Pango will evaporate.
Perfect.
2 dead
Guardian
for
Angel.
Gaimin.
Haven't talked about that. That count is Pango mega hard.
He was just forced out of lane.
He was bullied out quite a bit by a Pango.
I mean, do you think that's a mistake for Gaimin to not push the pedal to the metal in that case? Because it feels like both sides have been kind of passive, and Aurora is happy with that.
Yeah.
Their bear back in play is...
It's easier said than done, though.
Wheel of Wonder is placed. There's a repel onto Mira, though. Nightfall coming in to chew up Tofu.
Oh, that's delicious.
And a nice terrorize onto 2. Nightfall will clean up Malady eventually, and Toronto, Tokyo, and company. Look at the line there. It doesn't even say who died. It's so long. Avatos, Kiyotaka, Ace.
Another missed Ice
Yeah,
Blast.
that would have done it.
He's gonna live.
He's gonna TP out, and the tree's not enough.
Oh. All right.
Well, it's a dead corpse, so
Radiant's top tower
might be
is
some
under
meat left
attack.
over.
Let's
Dire's
not
bottom
go there.
Kiyotaka.
tower-
Focus on the game, Shannon.
Smoke, breaks, Avalanche. Oh, instant BKB and the box to follow.
Ice Blast missed.
Watson, very fast fingers. They're going to lose their roster to start things out as Toronto, Tokyo inside of the calling. Ace gets the Rolling Thunder off as Gaimin. Are they actually retreating or not? Rolling Thunder, like I said, has already been used. Now Kiyotaka still with the damage rune, wants to continue. Avalanche finds the Ringmaster. That's going to be the death of him. Boat coming out. And now Nightfall just munching on the Pangolin, like you said, SyndereN. He definitely liked it. It's going to be the cost of Toronto, Tokyo, though, under the Tier 2 tower. Bedlam not going to be nearly enough for Mira. Required a buyback here, as the Aegis was used. A beautiful Avalanche toss. Watson is dead. Double kill for Nightfall as Quinn looks to be next. A couple more right clicks will suffice. As Kiyotaka, ring around the rosy. As Nightfall eventually gets the kill he came for.
Damn.
Full team wipe in favor of Aurora, and in fact, that was 6 kills because that was a buyback on Tofu.
Gaimin stuck around thinking they could kill the Earth.
We love you, Panto.
Yeah, he's also
Well, not
typing.
SyndereN. I should say we.
He's also typing hearts in chat.
Okay. Tofu initiation. They find the Tiny. Boat is coming as well with a dead shot to follow. They needed this badly. Kiyotaka does drop to the deck. They still about 1,200 away from Aghanim's Scepter.
Yeah, with the Yules, he at least has a solution to the Ursa
Is there a
Orchid.
point for Watson? And we're going to have to hold that thought, actually. Is they're going to jump right onto Ace? He gets deleted! That was less than a second. That's not fair. Tormentor. That's not... Why did they say Tormentor?
Yep, Tormentor.
Terrorize onto Quinn, forces the BKB. There's the Wheel of Wonder. Everybody's going to avoid it, though. Toronto Tokyo uses his BKB as the fight is onto Nightfall right now. He kills off Malady easily. And now the chase is on. Gaimin Gladiators on the run. They get the Yules onto Watson. And the Avatos comes out. He's going to pop his ult, though. Can he get any value out of this? Panto is dead. The AA Blast does connect, though. As, oh my god, he just 2-shots Mira. So Watson doing quite a bit, but he might have run out of steam here. The buyback's coming out, though, from Gaimin as Ace gets stuck in a corner. That is unfortunate for him. Kiyotaka surrounded. and killed off. Triple kill for Watson. Muerta has arrived.
What a chaotic fight. Looked like Panto should have been able to kill Quinn with just the Ice Blast, but he threw it onto Muerta instead. Maybe a miscommunication, maybe he wasn't in reach. But gotta check that every time, especially with Strength Heroes, but he's A-okay. Omni spells are not that expensive ever since Hammer of Purity costs 0. That really helps. Smoke on smoke action. This is a pivotal moment. Toronto Tokyo will break it, and he's straight in there.
Oh my god, he actually popped the refresher already. Okay.
Bit of a misclick there.
Repel. Trying to focus onto Watson for now as the bear eats up the Ringmaster again. And Ace with his ultimate. Trying to create some space here, but 2 have been lost for Gaimin already. Is now standing on the ground. Is Watson. He's getting destroyed though. They just rip right through him. They kite out his ult and then focus him down as Gaimin Gladiators lose 4 Aurora nada. And the jump about to come. Oh, they're all grouped up too. Avalanche, toss. There's the Eon Disc proccing as Watson already has to use the BKB and retreat. Toronto Tokyo is just going to continue on. Uses the harpoon, but can't find the connection. So Watson survives. Second BKB for Toronto Tokyo. Now focusing on a different target. Will be a support. Rasta dead. Already 3 dead for Gaimin. As Quinn has to pop his own BKB, and the boat not going to do too much here.
Toronto Tokyo is zoning 3 heroes.
That's just so crazy.
He's just running at them, and they can't do anything.
Oh, Kiyotaka. Oh, almost got the toss. 1 buyback comes from the Ringmaster. There's another for the Rasta available. Tidal Wave now onto Kiyotaka. He's going to get hexed.
They have repel.
He's a Christmas tree right now. He is sparkling. AA Blast coming for Mr. Quinn. Cannot self-exile long enough. He'll have to do that after this game. I mean, what are they waiting for here? There must be something super close. Shard, perhaps, for Ursa? 500 away. Ace. Well, the Ursa's not here this time, at least not yet.
They have the outpost.
Yeah, outpost, Kiyotaka. TP's in. Rolling Thunder away. Toronto Tokyo deleting the supports. Will pop the refresher. Taking some right-click damage from Watson. He's just going to brush it off, though. They do get Ace in the end. And Harpoon now onto Quinn. Into the repel, into the retreat.
That's a real fake out. You blink, harpoon someone, repel yourself, and run away in a 5v3. They never see it coming. Not sure what he was scared of.
All right, they will eventually get this second set, surely. Bonk. Kiyotaka and company. Gaimin just try to delay a little bit. Second lane is theirs. Tier 2 tower did go down at some point. So now the Megas next on the list for Aurora. They're going to go all in here. 15 seconds on the Panga. They're doing a lot of damage to Ursa. That's life number 1. He gets the Yules off, though. The Wind Waker saves him, but he buys, or he
really
ends up coming back as the Avatos with the Ice Blast to follow Kiyotaka. They get the Rasta. Kunkka's next. And unfortunately for Watson, he just doesn't have enough right now, as he actually does die to AA Blast.
He even
back in
refreshed into
Fountain.
the second one, just in case.
Has the buyback for Watson. Kiyotaka onto the high ground. They force out the Wheel of Wonder. Not going to do anything other than delay. Nightfall bypasses it. Pops the Enrage, gets the tower. It's Kiyotaka with the Avalanche onto Quinn. This will be a dieback on if he ends up dying. He pops the BKB, though, as Kiyotaka is left alone by his team. He gets the repel, though.
He also has cheese.
From Toronto. And now they know Rolling Thunder is down. Watson still 40 seconds. We'll have to buy back here, surely. The whip onto Toronto Tokyo. Torn actually hits Nightfall. He's going to pop the BKB, focusing down the barracks right now as the AA Blast with the Avalanche to set it up. They get the range.
They're playing this.
They still have not bought back on Watson. I mean, with a toss and...
I'll get it.
That's the barracks. That's Megas. Okay, so Gaimin Gladiators will try to defend. As the Avalanche from Kiyotaka onto the Kunkka again.
What if this graph was just random and we all thought Valve actually did game analysis and it's just like drawing a graph? It's like, yeah, this team is ahead.
Ace, we have seen this, but the Eon Disc and the self-exile. He's going to stay alive as the Muerta pops the BKB. Trying to do some damage. We'll have to reposition ourselves. Refreshers galore for everybody and their mother. As the tier 4 tower, number 1 will fall. That's the Aegis. No tree for the Tiny now. We'll blink away. Be able to grab one. So the Ringmaster is the only one dead at the moment. 5 versus 4 for Aurora. And they can go in for the finishing blow here. With all the mega creeps to watch. Fortification was actually popped by Aurora. As Purification, okay. Well, Watson was there, SyndereN.
Yep.
Nightfall insta-gibbs him. Finally forced out his buyback, as you can see he does 2-shot Mira, so he does pack a punch. As Nightfall, he's gonna feel that punch now. He's doing a lot of damage to the bear. Will Force Staff gets a nice dead shot. Repel. On the other side of the trees, AA Blast does stun him, as Nightfall is gonna get healed and uses the Earth Shock to get away. And now the Muerta just stuck in place. Insta-gibbed again, as the GGs were called. Aurora rather, taking out Gaimin Gladiators 2-1. They qualify for the EWC. Congratulations to them. And they move on to the lower bracket here at Dream League Season 26.